Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I wanted to go into how many books I've read this year so far, how much money I've saved because I've been reading through the library, and then we can add up all those numbers and figure out how much money I saved this year so far reading the books that I have. And also I want to give some benefits or tips of how to read more and why you should really start using your library and get yourself a library card. And really the reason why I wanted to share this information with you based on my experience is because I also watch other booktubers or book content creators, and I've noticed that a lot of them like to do their challenges based off of going to the bookstore, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, or any kind of local bookstore, and then physically buying books. And some of them also go to like the cheap hand-me-down bookstores too, so they can buy them for cheap, but in the end, they're still buying books. For my situation, my lifestyle, that is not really where I want to be because buying books doesn't really align with my financial goals, and also with how much I've been moving lately, which I won't be moving anymore obviously because I'm in a house now, but I moved a lot over the past couple of years, and moving books is not easy. And also books should take up a lot of space, and knowing me, I would buy the book, read it once, and then it would just collect dust on my bookshelf. So I decided that I don't really want to accumulate some kind of book library, home library anymore, because I don't think that's going to be a good use of space, considering I don't really look at my bookshelf that I have now very much at all. But it's because of all these booktubers that I watch, it makes me feel like that the only real way you can enjoy your love of reading books is going to the bookstore, physically buying the book, and being able to take it home to read and like physically reading it. But I wanted to show that you don't have to buy books to enjoy reading, and that is why we have the local library. So again, there's nothing wrong with having a home library, it's just it doesn't align with my goals, my lifestyle, my financial goals, any of that. So I just really want to show how having a library card can really just cancel out all that money spending that you'd have to do if you bought books. Okay, so according to Goodreads, I have read 29 books this year, 2025. Today is June 16th of 2025 when I'm filming this. And I will say that out of the 29 books that I'm about to share, one of them is one that I did buy. It's Wings of Starlight. I bought that book because that is one that I just really did not want to wait for to show up at the library. And what do you know, I bought it I think back in April, and it just showed up at my library last week. But I'm not upset about it. That's the one book that I bought out of the 29 books that I've read this year. And I'm thinking that's probably one of the reasons why booktubers, creators buy books, because they just really want to get their hands on it. But the thing is, the ones that I've watched, they buy multiple books. They don't just buy one, they buy multiple, and they go multiple times throughout the year too. Versus me, it's been 6 months of the year so far and I've only bought one. Not saying that I'm better than them or anything, it's just I'm not trying to buy books every couple months. So obviously I don't really know what else they do outside of the times where they buy those books. They probably do go to the library, I don't know. But I am strictly trying to say that I mostly use the library, and Wings of Starlight is the exception. Okay, so let's go into all the books that I've read so far, how much each book costs, and then I'll go into like my tips of reading more and using the library and all that stuff, and why you should start using the library. So the way that I chose the pricing of these books, not really chose, but like the websites that I got these prices from, I bounced between Barnes & Noble and Books A Million because those are the two places that I'm most likely going to be buying books if I had bought books. And the medium is going to be a mix of paperback and hardback, and the hardback ones are based off of how recently the books came out, and then maybe the paperbacks don't have a price on them yet, or they're just not released. But I tried to go for the paperback medium as much as possible because that would be cheaper than hardback. And some of these books I did actually read on audiobook, but it was really hard for me to find an audiobook pricing because I was only using Books A Million and Barnes & Noble, and most of the time the audiobook pricing was based off of you being a membership or something. So I just went on hardback and paperback just to make it easier on myself. Okay, so let's get into it. So I'm just going to start listing the book, listing the price, and just boom just to make it faster. Okay, so Rubber Rising was $20, Hello Molly was $20, Throne of Glass $19, Crown of Midnight $19, The Assassin's Blade $19, Heir of Fire $19, Queen of Shadows $19, The Wild Robot $9, The Wild Robot Escapes $9, Onyx Storm $27, Think and Grow Rich $9, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo $15, The Book Swap $28, One Dark Window $19, Two Twisted Crowns $19, Water Moon $26, Trust of the Emerald Sea $20, Phantasma $19, Saturday Night at the Lakeside Supper Club $19, A Sonnet of John Rivers, $20. Die with Zero, $20. The Time Machine, $6. The Strawberry Patch Pancake House, $16. Great Big Beautiful Life, $24. The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, $16. Me Before You, $15. Say You'll Remember Me, $19. I believe that was 28 books. Hopefully I counted correctly. But now for the drum roll. Bull. I saved, according to this list of all the books I've read this year from the library, I saved $490. If you want to check me, go through the video again, add up all those numbers, make sure I got it right. I'm pretty sure it's $490. Give or take like maybe $15, $20 buffers down or up or whatever, because these are the prices that I got off of Books A Million and Barnes & Noble. So I'm sure I could find these books cheaper somewhere else, like a hand-me-down store or something like that, but we don't really have one around here that I know of, I don't think. And I have mostly been reading popular books of now, I guess, so I expect them to be more on the pricey side. $490 I saved from using my library. So now that you know how much I saved, hopefully that's like kind of convincing you why the library is so awesome, because I personally don't have any kind of attachment to those books. And honestly, it's kind of great knowing that I don't have a commitment to any of those books either, because it's like if I hate it, I can just put it back. Versus if I were to buy a book and not like it, I'd have to find a way to get rid of it. I'd have to sell it. I'd have to give it away to Goodwill, something. Versus the library, it was free from the beginning. If I don't like it, I can just put it back. And also, if I don't want to read it, I won't feel bad about it because I didn't spend any money on it. I can just bring it to the library and not think about it ever again. If anything, I just wasted time, I guess, reading like however many pages I got into it before I decided I didn't like it, but easy peasy. Library is great. So I feel like a question that I really had whenever I started getting back into reading a year or two ago was, do people actually still use the library? And I can say that yes they do, because I personally am one person using the library. I have a coworker who also has a library card and goes to the library, also taking her daughter to the library. My realtor that helped us buy this house takes her daughter to the library as well, so there's 3 of us already. And then every time I go to the library, obviously there's people in there. There's kids, there's parents using computers, there's just adults using the computers. There's also lots of social events that I see online on Facebook where they show pictures of like all the children participating in events, adult arts and crafts. There's like chess club, Lego club, anime club, all that stuff. Really cool. Unfortunately, I can't participate in any of them because they happen while I'm at work. So that's the only bad thing about my shift being in the evening. I can't go to a lot of these events that I really want to go to. I'm thinking it seems like not a lot of people use the library because not everyone's very vocal about it. I'm really vocal about it now because I'm really trying to share that you don't have to buy books to enjoy books. Lots of people that I know don't actually like reading, and it's not because they don't want to buy the books. I think it's because they don't want to put the time and effort into reading, and some people think it's boring. But I think if everyone were to try to give the library a chance, it would really open up a whole new world of like free services, because the library is more than just renting out books. But we're gonna get into what all the services you can get from your library later on. But right now, I just want to get into like, do people actually use their library? I have seen some Reddit posts where people don't really like going to the library because there is a little bit of like homeless people that kind of hang around the entrance. And obviously the library is like a free place to be. You can go in, get nice AC, bathroom services, not services, but like going to the bathroom, like, and I guess free entertainment for homeless people, and use the computer and all that stuff. So I completely understand, because where I used to live, that we had a pretty big library, and I do remember homeless people hanging around the entrance, and it would make me scared to go there, to where I stopped going to the library, because I did used to go to the library back in high schoolish, but then I just didn't like being there by myself anymore, so I felt uncomfortable. But now where I am, we have a smaller library, and I don't really see homeless people there at all. And the people there that work, the librarians, are so nice. It's so clean at that location, and I go to the library at least once a week. I'm probably gonna go later today, honestly, to return some stuff. So now we're gonna go into why I think the library is underrated service and like what all you get from your library. So at my library, you obviously can check out books. I can check out up to, I believe, 10 books. And also what I think is really weird is that if you return it late, there's no fee. So I could be a day late for a book and they're not gonna give me a fee. They're probably just gonna call me like, hey, we're still waiting for this book. It was due yesterday, can you return it? That hasn't happened to me yet, but I still think that's really weird that there's no fee. So what's stopping people from just keeping the book forever? But I'm wondering, what if they do that because not enough people are using the library anyway, so they're not really worried about any losses? I don't really know how the library system works. Maybe someone that actually works or volunteers at the library can tell me. But it's not just physical books you can get. You can also get movies, like DVDs. So we do have a DVD player, and I have kind of decided that every weekend Jamie and I will be watching a DVD every weekend. So I go to the library, he and I go together, and we check out 2 movies. We will either watch them both in one weekend, or we'll watch one weekend and then the other one the next weekend, because we have 2 weeks before we have to return the movies in books. And so that's been really fun because there are some movies that we haven't seen before. I forgot to mention this in the original video, but I've also saved money because of all the movies that Jamie and I have rented from the library. So imagine the $490 plus the movies that Jamie and I rent as well. I believe we've rented at least 10 so far. So, and the DVD costs like what, $5 to $10. So let's say $5 each movie, 5 times 10, we save $50. Or we can do 10 times 10, we save $100 on movies this year. Isn't that awesome? And there's also a thing where you can also request a movie that you don't see on the shelf, and then the librarian would order it from another library, get it shipped to our local library, and then they'll call me when it's ready and I'll pick it up. We did that for Spirited Away a couple weeks ago, and I think that was really, really cool because Jamie and I didn't have to go out and buy the movie. It was at the library for free. Another thing that you get access to is Libby. It is an app or online website. I think it's just an app. I've never seen it as a website before. I never bothered looking though, but Libby is where you can read ebooks. You can download the Libby app on your phone, or you can connect it to your Kindle. So whenever you download a free ebook, whenever it's available, it will upload to your Kindle app on your phone or your Kindle, physical Kindle, and I think it's so great. And also Libby gives you access to a bunch of audiobooks as well. The only bad thing about Libby is that there is like a waiting period. So just because you want to read a book doesn't mean it'll be available right away. And I know a lot of people don't like that because they don't want to have to wait, which leads to people buying books. But the whole point of this is like delayed gratification, waiting. The library is a waiting system anyway. Because it's free, you're gonna have to wait for the books to become available. Luckily for me, I'm not really in a rush to read any of the books that I want besides Wings of Starlight, because that one was like, I have to get that book now. It's what I've been waiting for years, but that doesn't happen very often. The library, you have to be patient. And then another thing that I recently found out is that the library offers services to take free classes online, and they're not like college level classes or anything. They're very, very basic classes. And so I have like a short list here what I want to try. I'm gonna do bartending and mixing 101, digital photography, sewing, and social media content creation. I started the social media content creation yesterday, and it's very, very basic. Like lesson 1 is just a really, really long page of paragraphs talking about that section of the course, and at the end I take a little practice multiple choice or fill in the blank kind of worksheet, and then I take a little exam at the end that's 20 questions long, and so I can finish one lesson in 30 minutes to an hour. And there's 15 lessons in this one, so I could probably finish it by the end of the week if I did 2 or 3 a day. So I did 2 yesterday, maybe I'll do some today. Yeah, I think it's really fun. It's free, and if I ever get tired of reading, I can just take a class. There's a bunch of classes on there. There's like arts and crafts, there's home decor, there's landscaping, there's computer stuff, there's cybersecurity stuff, there's Microsoft learning, like if you want to learn how to use Google Sheets, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel. It's so cool. So now I never have to stop learning. It's right there at my fingertips, all because I have a library card. Isn't that so cool? And it's free. And so because I have a library card, I think this is the most amount of books I've ever read in my life in the past year or two, and it's just amazing. Like I didn't spend anything. I've read so many books. I can talk about popular books with other people that read popular books, which is not that many because not a lot of people around me read, but if I were to find someone that reads, I'd be up to date for the most part. And so besides having a library card, I think it'd be really helpful to have some form of an e-reader. So unless you're like strictly hardcore physical copy reader, then I think you should really find a way to get an e-reader as well, because then you'll get extra exposure to more books, or you have a broader range of accessing more books. So like I said, you can download the Kindle app on your phone and then just download Libby, and then all the books you download from Libby can get uploaded to your Kindle on your phone and you can read it that way. Or you can get a physical Kindle like I do. Let me go get it actually. Where is that? So this is my Kindle Paperwhite in agave green. This is the signature edition, 11th generation, and I believe it has 16 gigabytes of storage. We also paid a little extra for it to have no ads, so whenever I open the lock screen, I won't have any ads or anything like that. So that's really, really nice. We paid about $250 for this because it wasn't just the Kindle. I also got the case, the agave green case with it. I also have a charger, like a wireless charger that comes with it. A regular charger. I think that's it. I can't remember what else came with it because that's really all I use from the pack. But I highly recommend get a Kindle. The Kindle is probably part of the reason why I'm so into reading now, because I knew I want to get into reading, but I didn't want to have to carry physical books. This thing fits in my purse perfectly. So I could take it anywhere I wanted whenever I was waiting in line, or like oil changes, any kind of car repair or something like that, or lunch breaks. I had this. Super easy, super simple. And again, it's free. Not the Kindle. The Kindle's not free, but the library is free. You can download books, load it onto your Kindle and read it from anywhere. It's awesome. I cannot recommend the library enough, but obviously if you don't feel comfortable going to your local library, then don't force it. So the last thing I want to go into is how to get a library card for my library and for my mom's library system. All you had to do was show up, show your driver's license, I guess, to prove that you live in that county, and then fill out some kind of form with your name, email, something so they can contact you, phone number, and then that's it. They print you a library card. You can start checking out books that same day. Super awesome. Well, thank you so much for listening to my rant about how awesome the library is. Hopefully I convinced you enough that the library is so worth it. Get a library card. Oh my gosh, another thing is you can also rent out video games. I don't think my library specifically can sell video or can let us loan out video games because I don't remember seeing any, but my mom's library, there's a whole wall of video games like Nintendo Switch games, Xbox games, PS games. Is that the right way to say it? PS5 games, PlayStation games, all that stuff. That's so cool. So I'm thinking maybe I need to use my mom's library card whenever I go see her and check out those video games and give it back to her to return for me. So yeah, it's not just books. You can also have computer access, online ebook access, audiobook access, video games, movies, literally everything. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!